What's up, mother foxers? Here we are again. We're back on the whore. Yeah, alright. We're seeing we got this stuff on here. There's a couple of missing components. I finally got them. We're finally going to put them on, and I've discovered something that is unfortunate. We'll get to it. But let me show you the missing components. The missing components. So we got the alternator, 130 amp. Now I remember I told you a few years ago I got one off eBay for 65 bucks, remanufactured Motorcraft, which is exactly what this is. And because of the new regime, you know, the stupid freak show going on in Washington there, you know, with the corpse and the dunce running the show, it went from 65 to about just over 90 bucks with tax. So yeah, don't buy the ones from LMR. I did before I knew, and I was smart. So it's on Black Sunshine. Paid 200 bucks for that thing. Yeah. Now they're probably a lot more, but I also got this bracket. I've got this on Black Sunshine. It's not perfect, but it's way better than the stock Ford one, because that looks like it was made by a high school kid in shop class. They really do. They're horrible. They're just hideous. So this is the turnbuckle one. Now with these 130 amps, the body is bigger on this, and this doesn't. See that? This is supposed to go on like the top part of it, and it's just the body's just curved differently than the 75 amp. And sorry guys, I live on a busy road, and but then this is here with all the spacers and everything. It's just less bulky and ugly, you know. So, and then I got this that you need with the wiring, because I got more wiring here. Is you need a fuse, a 200 amp fuse, and I pulled it up on Amazon. I kept getting, this kept showing up, and I'm like, why does this keep showing up? And I thought about it, and I'm like, if you're gonna get one of them 200 amp fuses, which you need to put, you know, 2 screws into a hold, well, say if that blows, well, now you gotta get a screwdriver, but if this blows, all I gotta do is this. I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. So, blows, I just reach up in there and go back running again. Anyway. But I just want to give a special shout out to FedEx. Because that is the way this showed up. There was no packing in this box. Luckily nothing's cracked and it's spinning. You know, so anywho, this is the alternator harness. Now this has the 2 power wires in it, and yeah, that's what I was wondering. I don't think I'm going to get away with, I was just hoping to run just, you know, red wire, 4-gauge wire all the way over, but see, this is hooked into one wire with a fusible link here with these power wires, so I got to hook this up with that, which sucks. Now this was a 4-cylinder car, and these idiots hooked the alternator up. I had to make this harness, by the way. I had to lengthen it because it was a 4-cylinder, and 4-cylinder alternators on the driver's side, so it's a short harness. Well, they pieced together different gauges of wire, like it's supposed to be 10 gauge, then they put a piece of 8, a piece of like, no, well, not a piece of 8, I'm sorry, a 12 gauge wire, then they put a 16 gauge wire, then 10 gauge wire again, and they use nothing but black tape and wire nuts. I mean, the thing was just asking to get set fire, and I soldered everything together here to lengthen it. And then we got our 3 here for the back. Let me get on to probably start putting my hoops on the end of this and getting my length right, and getting it shoved in here and figuring out where this is going to go. I may have to make this longer now that I think about it. Yeah, because I might be running it a different way than I was doing it the last time. Let me figure that out. Alright, I did some figuring. So this just goes into the plug, well, this way. And then these two big boys are the power. They have those black wires. That's the one I added on. Those go together in hoops on here. And then the white is the stator, which goes into there. And guys, I think I'm going to go ahead, because of what these guys did with this, is they cut like right there. I mean, I barely was able to get that soldered in there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and order another plug for this. And I don't have a stator plug. These are all just on the old alternator. I just use spades. You can still use these on there, except for these. These got to go on that. But yeah, I think what I'll do is I'm going to order a new plug for this and a new plug for this. I think they come in a kit, and that way I got plugs on there. And these are just, like I said, these are just hoops. They're just going to be hoops on there. So let me go ahead and see if I got this thing fitted. But hopefully it's long enough. If not, I'm going to tear this apart and do it again. Okay, guys, we got this hooked up to the solenoid. This hooked up to its little thing. This, I believe, is a tack. So, where that's supposed to go. Anyway. Let me pin this up in here because I want to run it down through here in loom, by the way. So when we come down here and it's running across here, and then if it's running across, oh jeez, look at that. Look how short that is. Son of a Biden. Damn it. Well, can't be son of a Biden because they never come up short, right? See, I'm already into this thing. Before I can start anything, I gotta lengthen wires. I mean, I suppose I can get that thing mocked up there, the alternator, but yeah, we had some storms, guys. Some remnants on the ground there. Yeah, our area got hit pretty hard, but anyway, let me maybe start getting this thing mocked up here. I have to take that hose off, I think. I don't know. Let's see. Alright, guys, I got the big wire ran just for the length, and it'll be running up here. The only thing I figured out this year that I had a problem with is that when I went to put the inner fender well in Black Sunshine, this was in the way. It was in the way, man. So I had to move it out of the way. So I'm gonna leave myself here. I mean, I got another, what, 3 foot off the end of this that I could use for something else, but I don't know. I may wanna, nah, I better cut this. I better cut it out right about here. Maybe it's about 3 foot for something if we need it for anything. And then yeah, we're gonna have to figure this out. I don't have any inner fender wells for this. They didn't come with any, and to get them are very expensive. We're gonna buy brand new ones. They're pretty expensive, and but yeah, I'm gonna definitely had to. I think I had to cut a slit in that too to make this work on my other car, if I remember right. But yeah, I may cut this around here. That way it's there, because the alternator is going to be right about in that area there. So, but all right, we got this. Let's leave this lay here for now. Let's go ahead and start bolting this thing up here. I don't even remember how this thing goes. I'm gonna have to go look at the other car and see what's up. All right, everybody. Update. I forgot something. Yeah, so that line's gonna have to be broken up. So sorry, dude. Start with the freaking lawnmowers. It's like a yawn. One person decided to mow, then another person decided to mow, and then I got freaking cars going by my driveway. So deal with it, because I am. Anyway, I was like, I can bring the wire up and through here, and then bring it over here. And I thought, no, that'd be stupid because I have a wire going over to here. And I thought, you know what? Bam, right there. So then I'd have a wire, I'd bring that wire up here, and then it goes from here to there, and I don't have to worry about my inner fender being in the way or anything. I wish I had this thing for Black Sunshine, you freaking mowing freak assholes. And because that'd be cooler to have that there than where it is up inside here. Because if that fuse blows on that car, I gotta take the fender off. Probably. Anyway. But yeah, I just forgot all about that. But who cares if it's sitting there, man? And there's a wire. I don't know how these other guys do it. They must bring them up from the back. Somehow. Is he sitting still? Is he gonna sit still with the lawnmower? He's sitting still with the lawnmower directly across the street from me. You can't move that thing. It has wheels. Holy freaking, for the love of God. Why me right now? I mean, Jesus. Huh. Not a very holy person, but anyway. But they must run their shit up the other side. This isn't a show car, man. We drive this shit. Come on. My shit's not Trailer Queens. For crying out, I mean, I don't understand driving it on a trailer, taking it to a car show, pulling off the trailer, then putting it back on the trailer and go, that shit drives me nuts. Drive it. We got one life to live, folks. Anyway, this freaking lawnmower's got me crazy. Let me start putting the alternator on. I figured that out. Oh, and by the way, the wire that's going to the alternator, I put a hoop on it already. You see me do that in past videos, so I didn't think you'd need to see it again. But let me go pop my hood on the other car and figure out how this thing works again. I don't remember. Now there's 3 lawnmowers, guys. Anyway, this is how this is going to be configured to go on here. Is like this, and this big bolt here in the center, that goes through the alternator, guys. So this is the configuration of this kit that you get with this and that turnbuckle. But and one of these is the nut that goes on the top of this, and some of this stuff is extra, but this is what I just looked at my car, and that's the configuration I got, with the exception of this spacer right there. It looks to be a 1/2 inch longer than the one that's on my car, and I got a medium, short, and long spacer, and the medium and short are on there. So the long spacer, I don't know, maybe it's for a 351 or something, I don't know. But yeah, let me go ahead and pop these 2 water pump bolts out, get the alternator on there, and see if that spacer is going to be an issue, or maybe the threads make up the rest of it. I don't know. We'll see here in a minute. See, yeah, I think that's too big. I don't think it's supposed to be extending out past this. Let me go look at my car. That's the one thing I didn't. I was looking at the size of the spacer. I wasn't looking at where this was in relation to this pulley. I'm gonna go check that. Alright, wow guys. This whole thing, and see how it's sitting past, if you can see down here. Bring it down here. See how this is sitting right there? This actually is sitting just slightly behind the pulley on my car. Now imagine they're all the same, right? So I'm going to go ahead and cut this spacer down to basically the width of this bracket. So that's how much it's hanging over. This one was hanging over on my car that wide. It was right up to the edge of this. So yeah, because if this I mean, I could mock this up right now and just put the alternator on there, but I'm telling you, that freaking pulley is probably going to be out to here and not going to be lined up. So, but yeah, so alright, well, now this is not the right way of doing this, okay? Just so you know. Just checked on Black Sunshine. Looks like on the back of this we need to add a washer. We had to add a washer on there to prop that out. This one is 1.5 inches on that car, so I need to take about a 1/4 inch off it, I believe. And if you look here at the spacer for this has to be up against that with the bolt. Of course, the bolt will be further over because this is too far out. But if you look at the alignment there, if you can see, that is aligned up pretty straight. It's hard to get a camera angle here, but me looking at it from back here is lined up. So I need to, you know, get this gap in here. which is a 1/4 inch more. We'll start with a 1/4 before, you know, I don't want to take off too much, but, and they did give me a little one here. I don't think I need to use that for anything. Gave me 2 washers, okay, and then they gave me this little guy. I don't know what that's for. I don't think you need to use it. These are the washers. They're supposed to be for the nuts that go on the turnbuckle. Shut up. These are for the, shut up. These washers here are for when you put the turnbuckle on, because the turnbuckle goes on the alternator and this thing, I believe, and you just put a nut on there, but they didn't give me the nut. Their kit did. This nut goes for this, which goes to the top of the alternator. That, by the way, that alternator's, that's the bottom. It's supposed to be up. Just so if you're wondering, I just put it on there just to see spacing. So anyway, let me get this cut down. All right, there we go, man. We got the spacer cut down. My cutting wheel was not very effective, so we brought out the big dog. We brought out the damn belt sander that sits under there, and we shaved her down. It wasn't easy, though. I had to wear some gloves, and things got hot quickly when you put it on the sander there, so it took me a little while. But everything is lining up here. You're probably noticing there's nothing up here, but I'll show you here in a second. Everything's lining up there. All right, so what goes on here is this. All right, and then your turnbuckle bolts here to there, and that's how you get your adjustment back and forth with this, because one is threaded the right way, one's threaded the other way. So when you turn those, you can tighten up the belt and loosen it. The problem with this thing, and I'll show you around back here, I alluded to earlier, was you see that gap there? This is made to fit a 70 amp alternator, not a 30, because these are a little bit beefier and I got a different roundness to them. So I'm going to do, and the bolt, it's just too, I can't get the bolt in there to nut it up here, because this is too high on the hole, like that. So all I'm going to do is put it on a belt sander and sand these 2 points right down to bring it down in there. So I'll be back in a few minutes because that's going to get hot. Alright, this is not a bad kit. It just needs improvements, you know. But here is this now. I got the bolt in there. See, there's the bolt they gave you. That bolt is for a 75 amp alternator, not this. And that is the next longest bolt that I have. This one's shorter. This one we can bolt up, you know, the turnbuckle to, but they only gave me 1 nut. You see what I'm saying? So when I looked over back on my car, my Black Sunshine, I have a grade 8 bolt and nut I had to go get. I just remembered that. So I got to go get a grade 8 bolt here, and we'll take a look in our cans over here for a nut maybe that'll fit this, for because that's where the turnbuckle's got to go on. Goes on here, and then if I can get that, get on there, there you go. And then again, that hose is in the way, so you gotta kind of screw with it here. I think it's too long, that hose. I gotta cut it down a little bit, but yeah, and then we'll get that on there. We'll get this shoved up there further, but I gotta go get a bolt and I gotta go find a nut here. So what was missing in this was, one, you're gonna have to cut this down to fit your size, and I would go by this spacer, the medium spacer. The long spacer is down here on the alternator bolt, but then this is the medium, this is the small. This one you're gonna have to cut down if this right here is past your water pump pulley. So, and then this here, look at that. Look how much I shaved off that. This thing was like this. That's how much I shaved off there. You can see we even threw a belt on a sander. I think that belt's been on there 20 years. That's not a lie. we had to take the dust off this thing. But yeah, it's in there, but I gotta go to a boat. Gotta go get a boat. And let me find a nut for that in our cans over here. All right, there we go. I didn't have to go to Lowe's. So when I was looking for the nut for this, why didn't you guys tell me? Why don't you just look for a bolt nut for this? You could have said something, because then I thought, hey, why don't I just find one? Of course, the two nuts I found, there were a couple threads messed up in them, so I had to tap them out. But there it is. There you go. We got like 3 belts. They're all too big. So we'll have to figure that one out. But if you're wondering why all of a sudden we got stuff plugged up here, well, forgot on mine, we had to cut this out. We had to cut that out in order to get this on there because it was sticking right next to the threads. So we got that all taken care of. So this is a pretty good kit, guys. You can get it on, I got this on eBay for 50, 40 bucks, something like that. But it does come with missing parts. Like they don't have the nut for this. You're gonna have to go get a nut for this. This bracket is made for a 75 amp original equipment alternator, not these big body things. And I had, like I showed you, I had to shave that down. Sour note on this thing. You're supposed to just stick the wire in there and then, you know, ratchet it down. I don't really like doing that. So I was going to put this on the end of the wire, but to get in there to get over that, so not going to work. So I have to figure that out. Wasn't planning on that, but oh well. I don't think you can get 4-gauge forks for these things. Alright, so one of the things I was talking about with the intake, maybe this I have to come off, is because this right here, I mistakenly put the ACT into there, right? And as I'm sitting there, I go, I think that's in a water jacket, so that's not a good idea. Then Justin came over and I was talking to him about it. He goes, yeah, you don't put that in that water jacket. And I said, that's what I thought it was. And then I went and looked on my Cobra intake, which is the same exact thing, except right down here is the blank, guys. And yeah, ACT is supposed to go in there, and that is just a blank spot. So we're gonna have to drill this and tap it for the ACT, because for some reason Explorers didn't have that. So yeah, we got to do that, and then I got to get a coolant temp for this right here for the gauge. This is for the gauge, and then this is for the computer over here for the coolant. But yeah, so here's the ACT, and that's got to go in there. So we got to figure out. My buddy Justin said just take this off, put a vacuum in there while you're drilling. I don't want to do that. He would definitely, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to pull it off, do it right, and that way this thing can live in there, and that'll be a new experience, drilling a big ass hole in a piece of aluminum and then threading a big ass hole. So, but anyway, there is that, guys. If you're wondering about these kits, like I said, it looks better than the piece of metal. Looks like a high school shop kid made that Ford mass produced. And also, this is what's left over from that kit that I didn't use. So just to give you an idea of the couple of things that they were missing, like I said before. So that is it from Horror Central. So yeah, so we're gonna have to take everything apart again. Drill a hole, thread a big hole, and I don't know, man, I'm not so sure about this thing now. A little weary about it. I'm gonna go do a little more research on something that's potted, because I just thought about that. This thing don't look very weatherproof. So maybe look up a waterproof one. That'll probably be a good idea if I plan on putting it right there. And when I do that, I will get this plug ordered, because if I'm going to splice, I don't want to have this there. But anyway, whatever. There you go. Alternator bracket, the cheap or eBay one, you know. That's how you do her. You're welcome. Later.